Welcome to Obsolete Futures.
Welcome, everybody, to Obsolete Futures. If you're like me, I'm always looking for a cozy spot to sit down and talk with like-minded people about my interests. My interests just so happen to be retro technology. And I'm not just talking about old games, things like that. I'm just talking about technology, the cool things that we used to get in the 80s and the 90s, when we had this explosion of technology, new sound and audio formats like the CD coming onto the scene. We had brand new technology when it came to computers, things that had never been seen before, things that you could never do before. You could actually connect your computer up to BBS's dial-in and talk to other people and get things. I'm talking about the very early computers that could do amazing things like the Amiga. I'm talking about every piece of technology from that era that blew our minds. I'm very passionate about retro technology, always have been. Modern technology too, but I'll be honest with you, I find modern technology to be a little bit overwhelming these days. Social media is all-encompassing. Things like artificial intelligence starting to make me question the path of humanity going forward. So I want to focus on the good stuff, the fun stuff, the kind of stuff that we can sit down, have a drink, talk about, and relax with. And I'm going to start by showing you what I'm actually recording this on. First, let me fire this up. This happens to be a 1998 prosumer camera. And this is not what I'm filming it on, but I'm going to film what I'm filming it on with this. So, here we go. What I'm using is I'm using a video toaster as one of my primary pieces of equipment here. If you're not familiar with a video toaster, don't worry, we're going to get into it. I'm passionate about them. I've got a lot to talk. In fact, the next video coming up on this channel, we're going to build a video toaster. I'm going to show you how I made that. So a video toaster is a live switching setup. It uses analog inputs, and you can do all sorts of TV studio type stuff. But the amazing thing is it's inside of a 1988 Amiga 2000. One of my favorite computers. So I'm using a video toaster, and to record this, to get rid of all the hassle of trying to use capture cards and other weird stuff, I am using a TriCaster. The TriCaster is actually made by the same company that made the video toaster, but this one's from about 2010, thereabouts. That's the newest piece of equipment I'm using here. Everything else is from the 90s and maybe 80s, 90s, very early 2000s for some things. All right, the camera I'm using is actually a Panasonic camera I got from an old, I guess, like a very amateur news studio type thing, because this thing is a Super VHS camcorder, the kind of thing that was used by reporters that went out to report on, I don't know, college football games and stuff, or high school football games, I should say. Not very professional, somewhere in between. I'm looking to get something even more professional from the day, back in the day. So I'm using that, and, well, there's all sorts of other little gizmos and gadgets that you can see lined up here that contribute to this production. So we will be getting into all of that, of course, and discussing just about everything. Let me put this away. Now, I have a wide range of interests when it comes to technology. I've been in love with computers since I was very young. I mean, very young. The first computer I ever used, I was probably 4.5, 5 years old. We used the BBC Micros in South Africa, where I'm from, in Cape Town. We had them in our computer lab, and I learned all about computers then. And from then on, I was just infatuated with computers. I know almost everything there is to know about early computing, all the way up until the modern day. I actually worked as a network administrator, as an IT guy, all sorts of things. I worked for internet service providers. I've got a lot of history, especially during the late 90s, early 2000s, working in the field of information technology, but just technology in general. Let me give you a couple of ideas. We're going to learn on this channel what this is. You ever wanted to know what a personal TBC4 is? That 4? I'm reading it. Yeah. Do you want to know what a personal TBC4 is? Well, I didn't know what this was until I had to actually get one. I was forced to get one in order to make this production. You wouldn't be able to see what you're seeing now if it wasn't for this baby. Want to know about the coolest looking computers ever? Stuff Sony made in the late 80s? The MSX2 hit bits, things like that? Yeah, we're going to learn about that kind of stuff too. I mean, when it comes to retro computers, I got you covered. Maybe you're one of those Atari ST guys who just cannot admit that the Amigas are far superior. Well, we'll talk about your Atari ST as well. Of course, I've got some Amigas. I got all sorts of interesting stuff, but it's not just about computers, guys. I love videography. I love cameras. Tons of that stuff too, whether it's still photography or, well, I mean, I made my career on filming. I've done a couple of television documentaries in the past. You know, everything I do has to do with video. So we're going to talk about interesting old videos. And here's the thing, the most exciting thing I think about this channel. Put this down quickly, it's really heavy. Those inferior. Now for the most exciting aspect of this channel, at least to me, I'm going to be releasing every single video in the 4:3 aspect ratio. 4:3 is what we always used to use on old CRT tube TVs. So whether you were watching TV in your living room, popping in a VHS from Blockbuster, or if you were sitting at your computer in the 90s with that glow from your screen, we're talking CRT 4:3. Love that aspect ratio. Love that warm feeling you get when you pop in a VHS and watch something with all the little quirks and features that come along with it. And I am going to be teaching all of you guys how to very cheaply build your own little Raspberry Pi based system so that you can watch all of these videos on a CRT if you so choose. Of course, if you want to keep watching it on YouTube and your modern device, you're more than welcome to do that too. It won't really ruin the experience, but if you wanted to really enjoy these videos, we can watch them in 4:3. So here's my pledge to you. First of all, this is going to be about retro tech, but it's not nailed down. It's about you. It's about the audience. It's about us. It's about us discussing and enjoying our passions. So I'm going to be very reactive to any comments that are left. We're going to talk about things that you want to talk about, things that you enjoy. I'm looking forward to all of your feedback when it comes to these things. I love the idea of exploring the what would have beens when it comes to technology. Things like the Philips CDI that was supposed to take over your home entertainment, something you plug into your TV or your hi-fi rack, and suddenly you can watch movies on it. You can play games. It's entertainment and edutainment for the kids. It's your music station. It's everything. That kind of thing that could have and should have taken off back in the early 90s. We're going to be discussing things like that and anything else in between. I'd also like for us to share knowledge and know-how. If I'm talking about an old system, I'd like to show you guys how to set it up, how to use it, you know, very simply, exactly the steps you go through in order to, for instance, format a hard drive on an Amiga system, because I had to figure that out, especially using a Great Valley Products, you know, hard card, as they call it. It's a card with a hard drive. You know, I had to look that stuff up, and I've got a background in IT, and it was a mystery to me. I had to learn a whole new operating system, a whole new way. I'd like to share this stuff with you, and at the same time, without being too technical and overcomplicated, there are better people out there. I'd just like to talk about the basics, and I'd like you guys to tell me what I'm doing wrong or how I could improve things. I'd like this to be a fun place where we can hang out, talk about cool old retro tech and everything else, maybe share a beer on a Friday, that kind of thing. Oh yeah, and of course the Tech Doctor will be joining us from time to time to give us her opinion on whatever it is we're working on.
I hate it.
Anyway, guys, I cannot wait to start this channel. The first real video, this is an introduction, but the first real video will be building the legendary video toaster. And if you don't know what a video toaster is, well, this. And this. And maybe something like this. If you've seen these transitions, which if you watched TV in the 90s, especially if you watched public broadcast TV or small TV networks, you'll recognize some of this stuff. That's what a video toaster can do. It's a live switcher that can do titles and on-the-fly switching with analog sources, all that kind of thing. I'll show you how it works. We're going to open it up. I'm going to teach you all about it. We're going to have a lot of fun. Anyway, guys, until next time, I can't wait to get started with this. Stay awesome.